The Pixel People Pod. Zap, 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 it's on. Rewind the future fraud. The Pixel People Pod.
Hey, we're back for our first episode of 2026. I'm Greg. Say hello, Jen.
Hello, Jan.
And third chair today, Chris.
What's going on?
There you go. So it's our first episode of the new year, 2026. And it's also our first movie review episode, which you'll get once a month, as I've repeatedly said over the last several episodes. So before we get into that, we have, as usual,
Here we go. Jan's Gnarly News. Jan's Gnarly News.
hit us with that news, Jen.
Today being
Hang on a
January.
minute. Before you get, if anybody hears me like knocking around or something like that, our dog's down here with us for this episode, and she's demanding I pet her. So if you hear like a dog bark, that's Piper, the Pixel People Pod dog Piper.
Okay. Now
All
that
right.
we got that out of the
Yeah.
way. January 5th, 1980. The king of pop, Michael Jackson's song Rock With You hit #1 on the R&B charts.
That's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. Like
Yeah, that's a great
I
song.
had Off the Wall, that was a great album. Thriller, of course, like surpassed it, but I'm one of those guys that thinks Off the Wall is like right up there with Thriller, and especially with that song.
I don't think Michael Jackson did any bad songs whatsoever.
Hey, you know he's got a movie coming out, I think in February, right? A
Yeah,
biopic.
isn't it his nephew or somebody playing him?
I don't know, but I'm going to get my ticket as soon as they go
It's a
on sale.
Jackson that's playing him, and I don't know if the family authorized it. I'll have to see. If the family didn't authorize it, you're going to have some crappy fake music in there. That's what
Yeah,
I'm worried
but-
about.
Should be
Yeah, but it
interesting.
looks good from the trailer.
There was a Jimi Hendrix movie came out a couple years ago, and Andre 3000 from Outkast played Jimi Hendrix, and he looked like him and learned how to play guitar. He's a great musician, but I watched like 10 minutes of the movie, and they were not allowed to license any Jimi Hendrix music, so they had to fake music, and it was god-awful. You cannot do a biopic on a musician without using their licensed songs, you know?
Yeah,
So-
true.
January 5th, 1980, Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang
Heck
became
yeah.
the first hip-hop single to reach the Billboard Top 40.
Hip, hop, hippie to the hop and to the hip-hop. You don't stop, Jen.
I just did.
I know you like that song. That was my microphone. It's my new swing arm mic I had to replace this week because the other one broke.
Going to see if either of you two remember this. January 5th, 1981, the Great Space Coaster premiered.
Yes, I remember that.
Ran from 1981 to 1986.
The Great Space Coaster. Yeah,
No,
I remember that.
don't
Kids
know it.
program.
You don't know that, really?
No,
I bet you if you looked it up on YouTube, you'd know it.
maybe, but I don't. That doesn't sound familiar.
It featured a lot of musical stuff. One of the stars was Ray Stevens.
Oh,
So it'd be good to watch. Rewatch if I can find it somewhere.
There's a lot of that stuff that you forget that you watched as a kid, and then you see it like, oh, yeah, I did watch that.
And you think,
Ray
oh,
Stevens
so
is a
great.
name from the past for sure.
Do you remember, Chris, this was in the 70s. It only ran for like 20 episodes, and it had, what's his name that played Gilligan on Gilligan's Island, but it was called The Far Out Space Nuts. Do you remember that?
Nope.
I bet you if I showed you a clip, you would. It's
Yeah,
one of those-
I don't remember.
I
it.
think it was back when Sid and Marty Krofft ran all the kid stuff.
Oh yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
that era. I
Yeah.
got you.
January 5th, 1983, Journey released their single Separate Ways.
Yeah, it's a good song, but it's too mellow. It's one
It's
I
a
skip
huge
over.
song, though.
It's one I skip over now though, because it's kind of mellow. I think I skip most of Journey songs except for Any Way You Want It and what Don't Stop Believing. Yeah,
You can't skip that one. You're not allowed.
yeah, I know.
That means you don't believe anymore.
Yep.
January 5th, 1983, John Anderson released his song Swingin'. Do you
Yeah.
remember that one?
Hey,
It's one of those gimmick songs that took off.
Oh,
yeah.
I love
Do
that
you-
song.
do you remember what they did in Hickory, North Carolina for swinging back in the 80s? Up at the CC's, where CC's and all that
Yeah,
is, up
yeah.
there, they set up a bunch of porch swings like on I don't know, they just set up a bunch of swings
Right.
and had people swinging in it. And they set the Guinness Book, I think, or some kind of world record for swinging back in, then that song came out here in Hickory, North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but
Yeah.
you know,
That was 83. I mean,
Yeah.
we were young then.
that was one of them gimmick songs like Elvira that took over that year, and everybody, you know, it usually probably was country gimmick songs usually that, you know, that or pop, you know. new rock gimmick, but
I still listen to that song though.
yeah, I turn it every time.
No, it's on
Oh,
one of my country
I hadn't
lists.
heard it in a long time, but that's a good song. Though.
He only had like 2 hit songs, didn't he? What's that song you had where he says, I got me a bass boat and a Z28? That's the other song he's got.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because I used to mimic him singing that to my buddies, make them laugh, but I don't want to do it on here because I won't sound like him anymore.
Oh, I can mimic him really easily.
Got me a bass boat and a Z28. Sorry.
You know, I forgot he was still an artist and was singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Dierks Bentley put out a country CD last year, a new one, and he actually sings on a song with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe he'll come to Newton here in the next year or two.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah. I'm gonna go
Okay,
see.
we'll be there.
I'm gonna go see a country guy if they come to Newton here for somebody that's got a couple songs. I don't want to go see a guy that just has one song, but they got a couple. But the ones they get around here, where we're at in Newton, North Carolina, Chris and Jan and myself, we go to this Newton Performing Arts Center. It's, 500 seats? We see a lot of 80s bands there. When you hear terrorists talk about seeing an 80s band recently, that's where we see it. They do get some country acts, but it's like 90s country guys, and I don't want to see
Yeah, they
it.
got
Maybe he'll come to Don
Colin
Gibson.
Ray.
Yeah.
Colin Ray was there, or is
Yeah.
coming something.
That's
so.
the guy I was all excited about, thinking the lead singer from Men at Work was coming, and I realized that's not the same guy.
No,
Close.
but he might sing a minute work song if you ask him.
Yeah.
January 5th, 1983, the Philadelphia 76ers defeated the Los Angeles Lakers 122 to 120. This game was important because it's the game where Julius Erving performed his iconic Rock the Baby to Sleep cradle dunk.
Yep. Yeah,
Epic
he
Yeah,
was-
move.
Philadelphia, we're down in the world.
Yeah, they were like up there with the Lakers in the early 80s. Philly, yeah, Dr. J, he was like the guy. I remember when we were kids before like Bird and Magic and Jordan came around. Dr. J was like the greatest player that ever lived. And then,
Yeah, he had a couple good years for sure.
yeah.
He scored 27 points that night. Andrew
that it?
Toney scored 28 points.
See,
Moses
that got
Malone
better.
had 21 points.
Moses Malone, yeah.
Magic Johnson had 23 points.
How many did Kareem have? The GOAT, Kareem. You don't have it? Oh, my gosh.
He might not have scored many
He's my
that
favorite
night.
player of all time, and you didn't get his points. I'm going to have to look
He
that up.
may
later.
not have scored many that night.
Maybe he didn't play that game.
He
Maybe
may not
was
have
out
played.
sick or something.
Maybe.
Jamal Wilkes scored 36 that night. No, those were the tops. So
Okay.
your guy maybe he was sitting out.
Yeah. He pulled a LeBron and took a day off.
No, he's not that big a wimp.
Yeah. yeah.
This
I would
next
use a different word, but this is PG.
Yeah.
This next one was a pretty neat story to read about. January 5th, 1984, Frankie Goes to Hollywood performed Relax on Top of the Pops, which is not in America. And it became this crazy story because a DJ on BBC Radio pulled the song mid-track during the air and said it was obscene. So within 48 hours, the BBC then banned the song, but it didn't silence it. It just created a lot of controversy, and it sent Relax to #1 instead of silencing it.
That DJ saved the Malaysian Prime Minister's life by pulling that song. Go see Zoolander, and you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Chris, is it too early to just jump
No,
out of this
I
one?
I got the reference right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was funny. Yeah.
Well, it stayed #1 for 5 weeks, and Frankie Goes to Hollywood became superstars just because of all of that controversy.
Hey, controversy.
Superstar? Really?
I mean, for that, for a year probably, yeah.
that one hit wonder kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah, but, controversy, that's what people never realize is controversy sells records. It's like Two Live Crew, when they were pulling that record, they were standing back
Tipper Gore.
going, thank you, man, because you're just making us millions. You
Yeah,
know,
Tipper Gore did
yeah,
a lot of bad.
Tipper
instead of
Gore
good, like
sold
she
a
thought
lot
she
of
was
Wasp
doing.
records because they're like, put explicit lyrics on it.
Well, to put it in perspective, that song was pretty much the anthem of 1984
Yeah.
because it was second only to Do They Know It's Christmas in sales.
In England, not here. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, they were yeah, Chris, we got to temper that, but they were superstars in England, what they might have been a one-hit wonder here, but over there they were huge.
Didn't we beat them in a war? I don't really consider that a whole lot. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
They're like our little cousins now, so.
Yeah, I know. They're like
Yeah,
our-
but people
yeah.
have to all realize if you just ignore stuff, it'll go away, and if you don't like something and you try to protest it, you're just going to make it worse. So
Yeah, because that drives
brings
people
attention.
to want to do that.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
say,
brought attention to it.
But Wasp, Twisted Sister, all those guys, Judas Priest, all those that people was trying to ban in the early 80s. It's like,
AC/DC.
yeah, you're just selling a lot of their records because every kid, as soon as you say you can't have that, the kid wants that record.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Top song January 5th, 1986 was Say You, Say Me by Lionel Richie.
A lot of Lionel Richie in the 80s. I mean, I remember him being big, but I just was not a Lionel Richie fan.
I was listening to him
I like
the
All
other
Night
day.
Long, but
The top movie January 5th, 1986 was Rocky 4.
heck yeah. The greatest
That's got the
soundtrack
best
ever.
soundtrack of all time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just put that in there for you,
There's
Greg.
no easy way out, Jen.
Yeah.
January 5th, 1987, Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles hit number 1.
Those I call gimmick songs, but didn't they have a song we talked about on a couple weeks ago? Yeah.
We talk about the Bangles a lot.
Yeah.
They were big in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Do y'all remember the song by Huey Lewis and the News, Jacob's Ladder?
Oh yeah, that's the song that I've brought up before on one of the earlier podcasts when they brought that guy to come speak at our church to all the youth about the dangers of Satanism and stuff and rock and roll, and I about laughed my head off and walked out when a guy goes in the song "Climbing Jacob's Ladder" by Huey Lewis and the News is driving children to Satanism and Satan, and I'm going. Huey Lewis has never drove any child to Satan. And I realized that guy he's full of it, you know. And again, every album, every song that guy talked about was so evil and the kids should listen to it. I was like, I have that. And, you know, I'm not worshiping the devil.
Well, that
So,
song was
yeah,
released January 5th, 1987.
It's a good song. I'm going to listen to that tonight now.
January
Wow.
5th, 1987, Michael Jackson started recording the Bad album in Los Angeles. The recording spanned from January 5th, 1987 to July 9th, 1987.
Yeah, that was, they lost me. He lost me by Bad. I wasn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Bad is a great album.
After Thriller, I kind of checked out on Michael Jackson. I was more into rock and stuff, you know.
Well,
I just
Yeah.
heard
Rock
that
and
song
rap.
today
I
with
mean-
Janlyn, and she was talking about how great it is.
I like that song, but I didn't buy the record. You know, it was like,
He followed up Thriller with Bad, which was just an amazing follow-up.
yeah, it was
I mean,
huge. Yeah, and then
I mean,
people probably think it's a letdown because it only sold like 10 million instead of 20 million. You know.
it's got some great songs on it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I did have Bad. It was the one after that. What was the one after that? Was the one after that had black or white on it and all that stuff? That was when I was out for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember what that album's called, but I remember they would be like on TV. Oh, we're going to show the new Michael Jackson video. They do it like on TV, make a whole night of it for
Bad,
his videos.
Bad. I probably
It's
didn't
insane.
buy it, but I had my friend Paul who like worships Michael Jackson. He probably made me a copy of that cassette back then.
So you bootlegged it.
yeah, I
so-
bootlegged it.
Took money out of that poor man's mouth,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He needs that money. He was
Yeah.
broke.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, broke.
January 5th, 1987, the Beastie Boys released Brass Monkey.
That Funky Monkey.
Gosh, I love that song.
Yeah, that's a great album. All killer, no filler, and it's a good song.
Sad thing happened January 5th, 1988. Former NBA player Pete Maravich died.
Pistol Pete, yeah, had a heart
Pistol
attack
Pete.
playing basketball.
He had just played a pickup game at
Yeah.
church.
Yeah. That guy,
He did what he loved.
if the 3-point line had been in college, he would have set the college scoring record so high nobody would have touched it. He was averaging like 40 something a game in college.
At LSU,
Yeah, in college with 2-pointers, you know. And I think that was still back then when he played. Freshmen couldn't play, so he'd set the record for years and 3 years. You know, that guy
See,
was Pistol
that's
Pete
my
was,
whole problem. That's my whole problem with the NBA. You know, off of a side note here, but talking about how certain players are the better scorers of all time or whatever.
Yeah.
When Kareem was putting up all those points, he did it from the paint.
Yeah.
I mean, he did 2 points at a time and free throws. You get a 3-point play by getting fouled and going that way.
Right.
You know, you can't. The different era, it amazes me. I hate the 3-point shot, but it amazes me.
I've been saying
How?
that for years. I think I even said it
It's
on
what killed. It's what
Yeah.
killed basketball, in my opinion. But that's a different story.
I
Sorry.
think it was the second podcast was just me and Chris Orrig doing it. I brought up there and I said that the 3-point line has ruined basketball because now all they do is run down and pass it back and forth till somebody's got a wide open three and chunk it up. And analytics have shown that that's the way to win. I mean, you know, if you take 3 threes and only make one, you're better off than, you know, it's odd, but it's not a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Unless Duke's doing it, then it's good.
No,
yeah,
never,
that's when
never.
it seemed worse. That's when it seemed worse.
January 5th, 1988, the top movie was 3 Men and a Baby.
I think I watched that movie one time back then, but
I've never seen that entire movie.
If you put a baby in a movie, I kind of tune out.
You put a baby anywhere, you two now.
Yeah, we were in Culver's last week, and this kid was just screaming nonstop. And Jan was loving it, and I was like, take that kid out.
Yeah.
She was like,
Yep.
he's so cute. I said, I don't care. He was screaming in our ears. So
Greg just
the
wanted to eat
same
his
way.
burger in
yeah, I
peace.
just want to eat my burger and my tots
In peace.
Yeah.
In peace. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing.
Yeah.
Simple act.
January 5th, 1988, Aerosmith released their single Angel.
That was one of my favorite Aerosmith songs of all time.
Oh my God! You said something positive about Aerosmith.
I love that
Amazing.
song. Yeah. That's just like one of the greatest 80s ballads.
That album is so underrated.
What is it on
for
Pump?
them.
No, that's the one before Pump.
Permanent
right?
Vacation.
Yeah,
Permanent Vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a. I actually like that album more than I do Pump.
That's probably one of the top songs that Aerosmith has that I will never turn. I'll listen to it and sing along to it, you know.
Angel went to
Yeah.
number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, which at the time was their highest charting single.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just starting their big comeback then.
January 5th, 1989, Madonna filed for divorce from Sean Penn for the second and final time.
Second time?
Yep.
He's
Wait a
such a
minute.
pleasant fella. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, those two were, God, that was probably an explosive marriage.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
January 5th, 1989, the top movie was Rain Man. And I just made Greg watch that
and it was a
recently.
great movie.
Yep.
I
And then
I hate to admit that I waited that long to watch it because it was worth watching. It was really good.
And I sent you that that DM, and you're like, oh, I get it now. Bam, 97X.
Yeah.
The
Bam.
future of rock
Yeah.
and roll.
Bam.
Yep.
There you have Jan's Gnarly News.
Oh, gnarly!
All right. And before we get to the topic of this episode, we're going to do, for only the second time only, what does this cost?
In the 80s,
Ooh, nice.
cost less. What did this cost? Give us your guess.
So, I don't know why. I actually threw this together like 10 minutes for the podcast because I thought, we haven't done that in a while.
I'm usually bad at these.
Yeah, but you're going to probably smoke on this one because I don't think you've definitely bought this product way more than Chris has over the last several years. So, and I don't know why I saw it in the refrigerator, so I thought I'm gonna look this up. So,
Oh, phew. I was going to say, is it tampons?
no, ground beef.
Okay.
Okay.
What did ground beef cost in 1985 per pound, national average? But I'm assuming this was 80-20 because now I was looking it up to just to give you an idea. 2025, the national average cost per pound in America,
$6.
$6.30, and that's 73.27.
Not even Chuck 80-20?
No, this is just ground beef 73.27.
Mm.
And I'm assuming in the 80s this was just ground beef 80-20 because that was a standard for years and years and years, and that's how they cheated you over the years. It's like, hey, here's sale price $1.99, but it's a 73.27, so you're getting 7% less actual beef.
All right, Chris, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
So we're guessing what a pound of 80-20 cost in 1985.
Yeah, and not ground chuck. This is just ground beef. Yeah, not that fancy ground chuck. This is
Yes. I'm going 69 cents a pound.
okay.
I'm going 89 cents a pound.
You locking those in?
Yep.
Locked in.
Okay. Jan wins. It was actually $1.35 a pound. But
What?
that's national average now. You got to
Oh, yeah,
think,
California and all that stuff.
yeah, and so it probably was around between 69 and 89 here in North Carolina then. But national average, that's where I get you. So next time, remember national
I'm going
average.
to factor that in next time.
Yeah, you probably got to factor at least like 25% higher just from the West Coast.
Yeah, but in 1985, I wasn't buying ground beef at that
Right,
time
right.
either. My mom and dad were buying it or whatever. Even though I was working at a grocery store, but still, I got
There
it.
you go. You should have paid attention to those prices.
You have
Oh,
no
yeah.
excuses, Chris.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. All I do is make excuses. Sorry.
So, all right. Well, there's a fun little game show there.
Is that the only
That's
price
it?
we're doing?
Yeah, that's
only
only,
doing
I'm only
one?
doing one because it
Oh.
just hit
Oh,
me.
I was ready.
I was
ready
looking
to go.
in the fridge and I saw that ground beef that Jenna bought, and I thought, I'm going to do that. I looked it up real fast. I actually looked up right before you walked down here. So,
Did you buy it at Food Line?
Yes.
yeah.
Do you remember the controversy in the 80s with Food Line and their beef?
Yeah, he's bleaching it and stuff.
Yeah, bleaching the beef.
That was the store that I worked at. One of them.
What was his name? Tom Wilson or whatever was the president of.
Yeah.
He didn't last very long.
I
after
wanted.
that.
I mean, we talked about this in an earlier podcast too, but I wanted that I wanted the whole chain to go to burn because they fired me.
What was the purpose of this bleaching?
To
make it
it was
last
old,
longer, I
and they bleach
guess.
it and make the meat like keep its red color and last longer. And yeah, they did.
I used to
think they
love
did
the
that
Food
with
Line.
chicken. Yeah,
You remember the Food Line commercials, the little claymation commercials they had back
Yeah.
in the day too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. Those were cool ones.
I didn't like the commercials they did the last 10 years where they had that lion on there and he was always giving his 2 cents. I don't need that lion to give me his 2 cents.
The only,
Yeah,
the only
annoying
big cat that
lion.
should be talking is Tony.
Yeah.
He's the only one that matters.
Speaking of that, here. That's a pin from the box top pod that someone gave me.
Oh,
Will it be coming
nice.
back this year?
I don't know. There's been a lot of changes in my life
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
don't really know where I'm at with any of this stuff right now. It's possible though.
Okay.
I'm hearing that old Tesla song playing in the background right now.
What?
Changes by Tesla.
Tesla,
There you go.
such a great group. Anyway,
All right, so let's get to the main topic of this podcast this week, the movie Trading Places. So we're going to discuss it and talk about what we liked about it, whether it can be made or remade or not now. Would it be as funny now as we'll see.
Along with some interesting facts.
Yeah,
about
we have
the
some
movie.
interesting facts. So I'll go ahead and give the breakdown here. Trading Places was a 1983 American comedy film directed by John Landis, who I think I've already decided we're going to do a podcast on John Landis at some point because the guy has done some of my favorite movies of all time, but he's a despicable human being. And so, I have to temper my love for movies that he's done. Just remember that, love the art, hate the artist when it comes to stuff like this because he killed some people on a set in the Twilight Zone movie. Look it up. But it starred Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Ralph Bellamy, Don Amici, Denholm Elliott, who was the butler, and Jamie Lee Curtis. This was actually Eddie Murphy's first movie. If you want to know how talented that guy is and just realize that some people are just blessed with talent, the guy was 19, did this movie, and he's a star. There was no build your way up to movie star status. He was a star at 19. He carried that movie. The guy that wrote the movie, Timothy Harris, and I was looking it up, and he conceived the outline for it in the early 80s after meeting 2 wealthy brothers who were engaged in an ongoing rivalry with each other. So he saw that and thought, I could do something with this. And him and his writing partner, Herschel Weingrod, so they developed the idea as a project. And I'm going to step on Jan's toes here because she has this as one of her trivia. But you can read more on it if you've got more on this. But they wrote the movie for Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Chris, did you know that?
no, I did not, and I didn't even look up any facts about it. 'Cause
You don't
told
have
me
to.
You might
You're
have some questions.
You don't have to. You're the guy that.
It also had a different title had Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder been selected for the movie.
What was the other title?
Black and White.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Chris, we're just gonna talk about the movie. We do the hard lifting here. And you're the.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, I would say after watching it that it wouldn't have been as good a movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, but every movie Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder did together was great. So it might have been just as good. It'd have been a different movie for sure.
It would have.
You couldn't. Richard Pryor was more of an actual actor, than Eddie Murphy was then. He would have been totally different in that character than Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's like a wild card when he took that movie. But I think it would have been a great movie either way. But I'm glad they went with how they went.
I didn't know that was his first movie because when I was watching it, his name was second to Dan Aykroyd, and I'm thinking, looking back on it today,
Oh, yeah,
Eddie Murphy's the bigger star than
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. I'm like, that's weird. Why did they have him first? But now I know why.
Yeah, Aykroyd, had already done his 5 years at Saturday Night Live and then was pumping out movies by then, This was a year before Ghostbusters, but him, you already had the Blues Brothers. So they shot it in December 1982 until March 83, and it was all shot in Philadelphia and New York City. So looking at the box office on it, it was a box office success. It earned over $90 million back in 83, so that's,
Wow.
yeah. It was the 4th highest grossing movie of that year, and it did over 120 worldwide. So it was a comedy back then to do that. It was a huge success.
Yeah. Did you look up what that would be equivalent to today with inflation and all that, like a lot of people do? Like how much it would be?
No, but it would
Probably
be
at least 200.
It'd be
probably,
it'd
I would
probably
think.
double it. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
in case anyone's never seen this movie, the storyline goes as this. In the high-stakes world of upper-crust Philadelphia, Louis Winthorpe III is an ultra-wealthy commodities broker who has everything, while Billy Ray Valentine, who's Eddie Murphy, is a streetwise hustler surviving on his wits. Their lives collide when the Duke brothers, 2 billionaire magnates with a penchant for cruel social experiments, make a callous $1 bet to see if nature or nurture determines success. By framing Lewis for a crime he didn't commit and handing his luxurious life over to Billy Ray, the Dukes watch as their puppets struggle to adapt to their new realities. As Lewis descends into a desperate spiral of poverty and Billy Ray begins to master the art of the trade, the two men eventually realize they are being used and they team up to beat the Dukes at their own ruthless game. That's, a short synopsis of the movie, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, right at the beginning, opening up with Eddie Murphy as the legless beggar. I mean, come on. That's so funny to me, And that's played off on the him rolling around with no legs. That's a real thing. I've seen footage of people that still pull that off, So, Chris, you've said you watched this movie multiple times over the years. What stands out on this movie?
Well, I rewatched it yesterday just to get ready. And, I think, they talk about how you have to have like chemistry. They keep using that word between the actors, how they play off each other and all.
Right.
Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd played off each other so well in this movie that when they're on the screen together, it's more enjoyable when they're together than when they're separate. One thing I noticed was like how detailed the movie was. Like I was watching the beginning and he was making the breakfast for Lewis as he's laying in bed, the butler is.
Yeah.
And they did all this prep, made this meticulous look for a 3-second scene of him sitting in bed eating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the attention to detail of it, and just legitimately how you can legitimately take somebody and they can flip their life around, if you take away everything that somebody has, and put them in a situation where they're desperate.
That breakfast scene you're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, Jan and I were watching this a couple weeks ago. I remember asking Jan, could you ever live like that? Like, I could never imagine someone bringing me breakfast like that and giving it to me. And I could not stand someone waiting on me like that. It would drive me nuts. And,
I think you would like it a lot better than I would.
Yeah.
I think I not growing up like that and not having that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes, we think that, but if you're used to it and that's the way you've always done, that just has to be normal. I mean,
I guess, yeah.
And Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie is phenomenal.
Just smoke show.
Yeah.
There's 3 stars in this movie. There are 4 stars. There's Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jamie Lee Curtis breasts.
Yeah.
I read a thing on that too. She said she had no qualms doing that because she said, I had a great body on me, and I didn't mind showing it, So
yeah, and she that's the first time that I can remember. Like she had that short hair in it, and that, and that was big hair in the 80s. It was all about, big, and like she put on wigs to get the big hair, but her hair was short.
Yeah.
And it was, and I'm sure this was around the time she was doing the Halloween movies, so I'm sure, she had some notoriety, but I don't remember ever seeing her in anything before when I was younger. That was the first thing I can remember ever seeing her in.
Jan, do you have any trivia on Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie?
Well, she had only been in slasher movies before that. So Landis really had a hard time selling her to be in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that, and he said, actually, turn it back to what I was just joking about. Landis said that her willingness to perform topless changed the executive minds at Paramount. Because he said, look, she'll do a topless scene. They were like, all right, put her in.
Yeah,
I guess that's how you could not. Okay, taking us back to could you do this movie now? Can you imagine in a movie executive office now, especially after Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff? Like, I want this woman in my movie. No, sorry. Well, she'll get naked. All right, we'll put her in a movie. If you did that and people found out about that, everyone in executives get run out of town.
Well, there's so many people now that just will get naked at the drop of a hat. You don't have to worry about it.
True, but you couldn't say. You need to do this to get the job now. You would.
Yeah.
So,
Landis is quoted as saying, she somehow made her part, the hooker with a heart of gold, almost believable.
Yeah, man, and I like the backstory they gave her, too. She was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm earning enough money to get this, and I'm out. She wasn't.
One thing that I noticed about, not the Jamie Lee Curtis stuff, but one thing I noticed about that movie yesterday when I was watching it that I've never noticed before was, so you had all his snooty friends and his girlfriend, and they're all there singing in that club, and it's a terrible song. But anyway, that scene there when he asked for a loan from his friends and they all pretty much,
Yeah, look at him like you.
yeah. Why was there never anything in that movie for him to come back and show his friends,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
screw you, buddy. You abandoned me, but now I've made it. I mean, I just thought there would be some kind of,
Yeah, some
I
retribution
would have.
for.
Yeah, I never noticed that, and I was like, why didn't he get retribution from those guys? But I guess him sitting on a sailboat or a yacht or whatever at the end, I guess that was his retribution enough. So,
Yeah.
but no, I kind of never noticed that before until yesterday. But like, that was before 4K and before all this other stuff, and that movie still, like when I watched it on Paramount yesterday, still looks like I'm watching, still quality of it,
Oh, yeah.
everything
Yeah.
about it. I think, I mean, I think it's a comedy that holds up more so than some others 80s
Yeah,
comedies.
that's one thing I'll say. Even I say I don't like him as a person. John Landis is a great director, and his stuff holds up. So, Jan, yeah, give us some trivia on this movie.
Did you realize that the Commodities Future Trading Commission instituted an Eddie Murphy's Rule? In 2010, using misappropriated government information for commodity market trading was technically not illegal. But then the Eddie Murphy Rule banning the practice, and it went into effect in Wall Street under the Wall Street Transparency and Accountability Act.
That whole world is just. I got into stock trading for a while, like 5 years
Just
ago.
call your local congressperson. They'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I got a trivia, Jen. This I know you probably don't have this, but I'm just saying this about John Landis. I'm gonna throw it in here. So this movie was filmed immediately after the Twilight Zone, the movie accident, where Vic Morrow and the 2 child actors were killed when a helicopter crashed during production. Landis was tried and acquitted of manslaughter, the first time in history that a Hollywood director was charged for a death that had occurred on set. Seriously, look that up. The Twilight Zone incident.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He killed those people. Landis did. He broke every rule on the set about working hours, broke all the safety rules, and basically got those people killed. And probably
Baldwin did the same thing.
Yeah, but his was an accident. This was Landis thinking, I can do no wrong and I can do all I want, and I'm the director, and basically saying, forget the rules. I'm going to do it my way. And he should have went to prison for years, but he still had
safety rules were a ton different back then than they are now,
Yeah,
too. Right now, like you would never get away with even any of that stuff nowadays. I mean, they're so strict on all that stuff now.
Yep.
Well, I like the interesting cameos throughout the movie, like Bo Diddley.
Oh yeah, Bo
That's
Diddley.
what I was going to
Paul
ask you.
Rucker.
Did you recognize the pawn store guy?
Yeah.
With Bo Diddley.
Yeah, I knew that immediately when we saw it. I was like,
Jim
Yeah, me
Belushi
too.
was
Yeah.
in the gorilla
Yes.
costume.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's so good as the gorilla.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I found an interesting story about the baggage handlers, which were
Oh, yeah,
Al
Al
Franken
Franken.
and
Yeah.
Tom Davis.
yeah,
They were actually supposed to be the McKenzie brothers that you like.
yeah, Bob and
Greg,
Doug, yeah,
Bob and
Rick
Doug,
Moranis
yep.
and Dave Thomas.
But that fell through, and Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy recommended Tom Davis and Al Franken.
Yeah, they were Saturday Night Live writers and stuff. They were a comedy team back in the day too.
Yeah, they were
And then
good.
that guy ended up being a senator. How wild is that?
Yeah.
And also,
Wasn't he a senator in Minnesota?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie
Shows you
Lee
what they got going on.
Curtis's sister played Muffy, Kelly Curtis. So several
In the
cameos.
movie?
Yes,
Who did she play?
Muffy.
His girlfriend, Aykroyd's girlfriend, the one that dumps
I
him.
thought her name was not Muffy. Was it Muffy?
Yeah, he called her Muffy.
And did y'all catch Gus from Breaking Bad? Wasn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
He was the cellmate.
I can tell you his
Murphy's
name
cellmate.
normally, and now I'm blanking on it now.
Esposito.
Yeah, the guy played Gus in Breaking Bad. Chris, you know, he was in
He was cellmate number 2.
Do the Right Thing. He's on yeah, he was one of the guys in jail when Aykroyd was in
okay.
jail.
I got you.
Yeah. I have a little piece of trivia right here that I don't know if Jan has, but this is something to look at next time you do. And I love this because I was a big Belushi fan, and I mean, I read all the books on Belushi. He was one of my comedy idols back in the day. And Aykroyd has never let John Belushi's memory die. You know, even now, he still, like, promotes him and stuff. And in that movie, the number given to Dan Aykroyd in his mugshot was 747-45058. And it's the same number given to John Belushi, Jake Blues, and the Blues Brothers.
Oh, really?
That was his, yeah, when they got arrested in prison, that was his number. And Aykroyd did this as a tribute to Belushi, who had died the year before. So he was, you know, he always puts little things, and he's never let Belushi's, you know, his name die which I always thought was very cool.
Yeah, you see that a lot with those guys, especially the Saturday Night Live guys with Adam Sandler and those guys
Oh,
with
yeah,
Chris Farley.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you're in that whole 20-week period or however long the season is, and they're together 24/7 basically for that entire time. They become such close friends that, you know, they're more like your family than just your friends. So yeah, so I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it.
What did you got, Jen?
There was also a nod to an E.F. Hutton
Oh,
commercial.
Yeah.
When Valentine is in the restaurant and Winthrop is standing outside in the rain, and Valentine is asked about the wheat.
Oh yeah, and everybody stops. And
Everybody in
listens.
the room, everybody stops and leans in.
And I think nobody other than our generation would get that joke now if you watch
know.
it, because E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. So yeah, that was a nice little thing that I immediately got when I was watching it. Yeah, I was like, that's cool.
And did y'all know this? The station master, the man who refers to the care and feeding of the gorilla,
Yeah.
is played by Steven Stucker. Do you know who he is?
Steven Zucker?
Steven Stucker.
Oh no, who's Steven Stucker?
Mm-hmm.
He was in Airplane.
Wait a minute, does he want to play? Yeah, I know who you're talking
He was
about
the
now.
air traffic controller.
Yeah,
in
you know, and
Airplane.
Leon's getting larger. Remember him, Chris?
I didn't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
till I
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
this
yeah,
up that
yeah.
that's the
I got you.
same person.
Yeah, that guy was
Gotcha.
hilarious, by the way. He did a lot of stuff. I didn't know the name till you brought that up, and yeah, I read up a lot on him years back. I got on Wikipedia and got in the airplane kick and looked up everything on people. But did you have the Coming to America? Chris, you've seen Coming to America. You know how they tied in with this one?
Yeah, where the Dukes or the bums or the homeless guys sleeping
Yeah,
on
the homeless
street.
guys are the Duke brothers, and he gives them that money, and he's Randolph Mortimer. I'm still angry at you. He goes, we're back with that money. I thought that was so cool that Eddie Murphy put that in. Him and Landis put that into Coming to America just as a, you know. I don't think they had acted for a while since then.
Yeah, the Dukes remind me of the Muppet guys.
Yeah. The guys sit up in a balcony.
Yep.
Yeah,
the two old guys. Yeah.
My favorite Muppets.
But now I
Yeah, I
thought
love
this
those
was
guys.
Eddie Murphy's second movie.
What was his first one?
Was it not 48 Hours?
I thought this was his first movie. Hang on a second. I'm going to hit pause on something. We'll be right back. And we're back, people. We took a pause to do some factual checking. And instead of pushing it till next week in errors and corrections, I'm going to fess up to my mistake live. Jan's right. This was not Eddie Murphy's first movie. It was his second movie. Jan, what was his first movie?
48 Hours.
Yes. They were filmed close to each other. So either way, for the guy to just do his second movie like that, it's pretty good. You know.
But I don't think 48 Hours had came out yet when Landis picked Murphy for this movie.
Probably not.
Because Landis didn't really know who Eddie Murphy was.
Okay, I'm deleting this. We're going to do the whole thing over again. Hang on. No.
Good job. We got to start all the way over.
Yeah.
Remember every word you said,
Yeah.
except for that.
Well, first, second, to carry yourself as good as he did in this movie. And that brings me to something that I noticed. And we watched this movie, Jan and I did, like 2 weeks ago, specifically to catch up on it for this. And I remember right when the Duke brothers bring him in, Eddie Murphy, and they're offering him all this stuff, saying, this is your house and all this stuff. And he goes, hey, you guys aren't, and he uses a homosexual slur, are you? The F word. And I remember thinking, oh, you would not put that in a movie now.
No.
It almost was so shocking. That has been taken out of our lexicon over the last 10 years, you know, and stuff. And even though I, listen to Money for Nothing that's in there, that don't really hit me. But to hear Eddie Murphy just blurt that out in the movie, I was like, whoa, yeah, you don't say that anymore.
Well, South Park, I made a whole episode about how you can say it.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. If you
But
hardly,
no, another thing is when the Dukes are in the bathroom
yeah. Oh,
and he's up he's smoking pot and he's up there hiding on things.
Yeah,
And
they throw
then the one guy goes, I'm not going to have an N-word in charge of our
of our
company.
family.
Me either.
Family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, yeah. It's like you would not, although you might. It depends on what movie it is, but.
Well, no, I'm saying that's just like that. I'm not saying you couldn't make it today.
Shook
It just
you,
was
though.
it was
It's like
startling.
startling. That's it. Yeah, when I heard it, I was like, oh, I think me and Jim both went, whoa, when because it was startling to hear that. So yeah, a lot of stuff changed now in movies, versus back then, and what you can put in there is just, still be dirty and still do what you want, but you got to change your language some now. But yeah, it was, it teeters on some of the stuff with the Dukes and Eddie Murphy. Teeters on a little bit. You're like, yeah, that's just teetering the edge of like you're pandering, but they, it doesn't go they walked a fine line in this movie. So
Yeah.
if they did it now today, this movie, it would probably not be black or white like that. It would probably be reversed just so you wouldn't offend. You know?
I mean, John Landis did direct the black or white video for Michael Jackson too.
Yeah, he
so-
directed all of
I
Michael
mean,
Jackson stuff.
yeah. So there you go.
So yeah, I think if you did this movie now, it would be like a woman and a man, or the Aykroyd's character would be like Samuel L. Jackson, and another one would be like Pete Davidson would be the up and coming. They would flip it like that. Because I don't think you could do it this way now. But what do you think, Jen? You've been awful quiet over there.
I'm just thinking, doing some math in my head.
All right, what's the math?
So this movie was set in 1983, and the brothers offered Billy Ray Valentine $80,000 as a starting salary. In today's times, that would be equivalent of $252,000 as a starting salary.
That'd be a good chunk of money if you were hustling for nothing, and then here's your $250 a year.
Remember the $35,000 vase that he broke?
Yeah.
Today's times, that would be a $110,000 value.
Yeah.
But it would have been insured for $150,000.
Right. So you just made the money. So yeah.
They made them money. Yeah.
Yeah, $250,000. I mean, that'd be a pay cut for me off our podcast salary, but that
I know.
would,
We can make it.
Yeah.
We can make it.
You think you could get by?
I think we could.
Paper Shoes Media better be cutting me a check.
Yeah. It'd be $2.52.
Yeah. So you got any more trivia there, Jen?
And that's it.
Really? Did I have any more? Let's see. Oh, well, this would be a good trivia thing to wrap this part up on. I looked this up. He really said this. In 2001, Eddie Murphy stated that the making of this film was the most fun he'd ever had on a movie set, and that every film he did after that felt like work. So I'd imagine that probably was being that young and making that movie with all those big names and, Aykroyd and all those guys, and it probably seemed like a fun movie to do, too, the whole...
Well, there was a lot of fun and a lot of laughter in this movie. So I could see where he
You
would
would think that he would
fun.
say, like, Coming to America would be, but I imagine at times Coming to America was not fun because all the makeup he had to put on.
Yeah.
Did you see, Chris, I brought that up a couple weeks ago on here, and have you seen the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix yet?
No, I don't think so. I don't have Netflix.
Okay,
so.
He tells a funny story and I'm just going to bring it up again in this, where he says that he did Coming to America and he had the premiere, and Reverend Jesse Jackson was there. And after the movie was over, at the party and everything, Jackson came up to him and said, I want to thank you for putting those old black men in your movies. There's really not a lot of people putting old black actors in movies anymore. And for you to do that really shows, you're commendable, and I appreciate that. And he goes, what are you talking about? And so Jesse Jackson said, those old black barbers. And he goes, man, that was me. And he played his character so good. Jesse Jackson did not realize that was Eddie Murphy under makeup playing the guys,
funny.
him and Arsenio. Okay, people might skip over this, but I feel I owed it to people that have watched this to do this. So I asked ChatGPT to break down the commodity scene and how the Duke brothers get taken down and lose their fortune. I kind of knew it. I mean, like I say, I dabbled in stocks a lot like 5-6 years ago, and I kind of knew.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I know. I'm still holding on to that Lucid electric car. One day it's going to take off. I'm going to make money back. So I asked us to break down and, dumb it down for people to understand how they snookered the Dukes out of all their money. And so here's what it said. It broke it down into like 6 sections right here, but I'm going to read them off. The setup was the fake report. The Duke brothers bribed an official to get an advance copy of the USDA crop report. They expected it to say the winter was harsh and the orange crop was destroyed. If oranges are scarce, the price of frozen concentrated orange juice, FCOJ, goes up. However, Lewis and Billy Ray intercepted the courier, stole the real report, and gave the Dukes a false one. The false report said the crop was destroyed, so the prices would go up. The real one said the crop was fine, so prices should go down. So when the markets opened, the Dukes, believing there's a shortage, began buying every orange juice contract they could find. Because everyone sees the wealthy Duke brothers buying aggressively, other traders panic and start buying too, thinking the Dukes know something they don't. This sends the prices skyrocketing from roughly $1.02 to $1.42. While the price at its peak, Lewis and Billy Ray start selling. This is where it gets kind of complicated, but it's weird that you can actually do this. But in commodities trading, you can sell a contract for something you don't yet own, providing you cover, as in buy it back before the end of the day. This is called short selling. And short selling is something that I think after dealing in stocks for a while should not be allowed. Short selling is where you basically borrow stocks off somebody, run up the price or drop it, and then buy in later. It should not be allowed. But because I watched stock, a lot of those meme stocks that went up a couple years ago, there's a lot of short trading going on in that.
Yeah.
So when the price was at its peak, they start selling it. So they signed contracts promising to sell orange juice at the high of $1.42. The other traders and the Dukes eagerly bought these, thinking the price will keep rising. So they signed these things saying, "Well, we have all these things, and we'll sell it at $1.42." So when they read the real report that says the cold winter has not affected the orange harvest, everyone realizes there's abundance of oranges. The value of those expensive contracts vanishes instantly. Everyone panics and starts trying to get rid of their now worthless holdings. The price plummets. Now it goes into buy low, sell high in reverse. Lewis and Billy Ray wait until the price is rock bottom, which goes down to 29 cents. They then buy back the same number of contracts they sold earlier. So they sold at $1.42 and bought at 29 cents. They pocketed the $1.13 per unit difference as pure profit. So the Dukes had all these things they owned at $1.40 something, and they were long on the market. They owned thousands of contracts they bought at high prices, $1.40 plus. When the price dropped to 29 cents, they couldn't find anybody to buy theirs at $1.40. So they had all these shares that they had promised that they had bought at $1.40, and they couldn't sell it because now it's like 29 cents. Nobody wants to buy theirs. So in the final moments, the exchange calls for a margin call. That means the Dukes has to pay the difference for their losses in cash immediately. They had bought so much of it, they owed $394 million, far more than the actual cash they had. So that resulted in their total bankruptcy, and their seats on the exchange were seized. So that's why they went broke.
Reportedly, Eddie Murphy said that he didn't understand what was going on when they were shooting the scenes on the trading floor either.
Yeah, it's still complicated. I know it's one of those things where I know what happened and I can see in my head and I know how they did it. But I really, even at reading this, I can't explain it to you but it all goes into the craziness that is the stock market. Short selling is bullcrap because people sell stocks they don't own.
Yeah, I get confused still, and I watched the movie, and like you explaining it now, I'm still.
Yeah, it's still.
It's a complicated thing. So I mean.
But it made for a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they got extremely wealthy off of, those characters were extremely wealthy because of doing that for all those years. So.
Oh yeah. So that is the stock market, and I'm not griping because I got a lot of retirement money in the stock market, and
that's why we trust Edward Jones.
Yeah.
All
right, if you want, they should sponsor this podcast because I'll tell you right now, Edward Jones, especially our guy in Shelby, that guy's making us some money.
That's good though.
Yeah, the whole stock market thing, there needs to be some changes on it, especially with the short selling.
But you don't have to understand it to get this movie.
No, that's why it was such a good comedy. Yeah, that we watched it, and even though I kind of knew, watching, I know what they're doing, but it's so complicated. It's like I couldn't sit here and tell you what they just did. I kind of know it, but they sell it so good, that movie does. It's like you just buy it, even if you don't understand it. You're like, oh, that's great. Yep. All you know is the Dukes got screwed and lost everything, and then
Yep.
And that goes back to what I said earlier, though. What's awesome is how you see them lose everything, and the movie goes away. But then a couple years later, you see that they're bums sleeping on the streets as old men and coming to America. And I loved how they tied that back. And Eddie Murphy's characters give them some money,
I love when movies do little things like that.
Yeah, I love tie-ins like that. But that'll do it on this episode on this. It's a great movie, and you need to watch it, especially if you're a fan of the 80s. And, give us some ideas. If, you can inbox the Pixel Underground on Facebook or let us know what movies you'd like us to cover. And we got 11 more of these this year to do. Who knows? We might turn just a movie review podcast. You never know. Depends on look at those numbers, people. So you like music and you like movies, we give you what you want. Ain't that right, Chris?
We're here for the people. We're here for the people.
Yes. So with that, I guess we'll sign off. Jan, you got anything to say? Wait a minute. Chris, you got anything? I forgot. Jan always signs us off. Chris, you got anything to mention about this or future things coming up?
No, I think I'm pretty mellow right now. So pretty chill. Yeah.
Well, glad to have you on another episode here. So
I appreciate it.
Shine on.
The Pixel People Pod. Zap, 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 it's on. Rewind the future fraud.
petite